Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and ESPN just released their first global power rankings for the 4 main leagues, and I figured now would be a good time to go through them. So we're going to go through my rankings that I had from last week, and then we'll see what ESPN has to say about the leagues. So let me just rearrange this real quick. Alright. So first up, we can look at this. So we have Immortals. Immortals will put 47th. ESPN thinks they are the worst team in any of the 4 major regions, and I have to agree. They have been quite bad. There are no bright spots on that roster. There are no players who you think to yourself, you know, give them some time. I think they'll actually turn into something. Just bad team, very bad team. Soaz, not good. Potluck, not good. Ica, he might be the question mark where it's like maybe he can be good, but probably not. Altec, everyone loves giving him chances, but you know he just doesn't seem to be a very good player. The 46th team, and my first point of contention with the list, Dominus being worse than Dignitas. If Dominus played Dignitas in a best-of-1 series, I don't care what the line is, I'm going to bet on Dominus. I think that any sportsbook that had this matchup would have to kind of hedge towards Dignitas because they are potentially more popular in North America. Like people will think, oh, Dominus, there's some random Chinese team. Who cares about that? They're not any good. But yeah, I think they would beat the garbage out of Dignitas. With that being said, let's put Dignitas 45, and I'm gonna rearrange this into what I think the ranking should be. So I'll have their ranking in parentheses, my ranking in a separate column. Next up is Schalke. So Schalke from the LEC has looked pretty bad so far, but I think that's temporary. I will be looking for opportunities to bet on Schalke and to play them on DraftKings. I think that when they get into some of these matchups against the other bottom tier teams in Europe, we're going to be able to get some value out of that. Next up is Rogue Warriors. Again, there is no way that Rogue Warriors is worse than a lot of these teams that are above them. Like, they have a lot of question marks with their roster, but I think they're just running out the wrong group of players right now. So if this list is based off of recent form, then sure, maybe. But if it's like, what is the best possible iteration of this team, I think Rogue Warriors is definitely better than most of the teams in Europe and North America. They just don't look as good because they're playing against better competition. So Rogue Warriors, we have 43. FC Schalke 44. XL Esports. XL has looked very bad. I'm pretty sure they're still winless. Let me just make sure that I have that correct. Oh, and the other thing is they don't have Brazil in here. So I'm going to include some Brazilian teams, I think, in mine. XL is 1-4. XL beat SK. Alright. Next up we have Vici Gaming. Vici Gaming coming off of a bad loss to V5. Not because V5 is bad, but like this was their chance to kind of say, listen, like we know we've been bad so far this split, but we're not that bad. But like even with Coma as their coach, they've looked kind of lost. Maybe their talent it just isn't there. It's tough to say. But yeah, Vici Gaming hasn't looked good. OMG, another team that hasn't looked good, but there's no way that OMG loses to a lot of these North American teams. They're competitive with a lot of the teams in the LPL. So OMG beat Dominus, not really saying anything. I'm pretty sure, let me get to the game score. OMG took a game off of Top Esports and took a game off of V5. Like, there are a lot of teams in North America and in the LEC that even that seems like very far-fetched that they'd be able to accomplish something like that. 39th, Vici Gaming. Vici Gaming is 3-7 overall. They ended up beating E-Star, which was a good victory for them, but it's not really a good victory overall. So we do have some difference between where I have teams and where these people are ranking teams. Next up, we have 100 Thieves. Is CLG not on this list? Counter Logic Gaming is 25th? What the hell? Oh my god. How could you even say that? That is out of control. They beat Dignitas, Immortals, and Golden Guardians, and you're going to put them 25th in the world? Oh my god. That is insane. There is no way they're better than 100 Thieves. Oh my god, that is ridiculous. Oh my god. That is the craziest. That is the... I wasn't expecting to be that shocked. Like, I knew that there would be some, like, bias here, but that is amazing. Oh my god. LNG would destroy Counter Logic Gaming. Sandbox, that'd be probably an okay matchup. I still think Sandbox Gaming wins. Hanwha Life, I think, beats Counter Logic Gaming. Oh my god. What are they doing? This is just so... Like, this is typical... typical esport writer from... Oh, jeez. Ridiculous. Okay, so LNG is 37. Sandbox Gaming, they've looked like the worst team in Korea right now, which is not so surprising. They were one of the teams that made it back from relegation. Hanwha Life has looked bad, but Hanwha Life has a pretty talented... roster in general. I think Viper and Lehens, if you put them up against any Western bot lane, they would win. So I think that we see them against these good teams, and that kind of distorts how we think about the players, when in reality they're still very good players. Solhaewon Prince, we have Hybrid, Secret, Mickey. They've looked good in a lot of their games. They are 2-3 overall. They went 0-2 against Damwon Gaming, but Damwon Gaming is a really good team, and they beat Hanwha Life 2-1. Team Vitality. Going into this split, there is no way that you could say with any degree of certainty that Team Vitality would win more than 2 matches the entire split, and they've already won 2 matches. So they beat Schalke, which is a good win for Vitality, but it's not a good win for anyone else. Schalke is considered, what, the second worst team, the 4th worst team in the world, and that's one of Vitality's 2 wins. How are we giving them this much credit? It just doesn't make any sense to me. They beat G2. G2 played like garbage. Why should we give Vitality credit for that? I would give more credit to G2 for being horrible. Well, not give them credit. I would chastise G2 for being bad in that game. This is a ridiculous ranking. 33 overall for Vitality is just ridiculous. That's a horrible, horrible ranking. Prince is 34. But again, I'll have to go through this and see what mine looked like, because maybe I'm just missing something. Misfits at 32 is hilarious. I don't know what kind of, like how they're coming to these kinds of picks. Like, are they limited where they can rank teams based off of their records? Because there's no way that Golden Guardians is better than Misfits. There's a 0% chance. In any world, 0% chance that Golden Guardians is better than Misfits, even by a slot. Even if they're saying they're even. This is just not even close to being correct. Thinking that Counter Logic Gaming, if Counter Logic Gaming played Misfits in a game, the money line would be Misfits minus 200. Or something like that. Misfits is a much better team than Counter Logic Gaming. 31, we have Golden Guardians. Now we're getting into weird territory where a lot of these teams are going to be kind of splitting hairs, but, you know, we have to go through this process. V5. Let's go back to LPL. V5, they won again today. Maybe they didn't take that into consideration. Their game score so far is 9-4 on the season. They've got the big dick bot lane. I don't know what else you need to say. The fact that they're not in the top 10 is a sham. PP God deserves to be worshipped. So I'm joking, but not really. Again, if V5 played Counter Logic Gaming, V5 would dick down Counter Logic Gaming. You know that's true. Sunning, another team. Just a much better team than what we have in North America for the most part. I think that you could make an argument for Sunning against every single team in North America where you should probably favor Sunning, and then it gets questionable when you have them up against like C9. That's a question mark. But still, I'd probably take Sunning just to be contrarian. E-Star. E-Star is 7-6 on the year. I don't understand how they're above Sunning or Victory 5. They're not as good as either of those teams. So let's catch up here. So we have V5 is 30. And I get they probably want to be cautious with V5. But they're too low compared to a lot of these other teams. E-Star 28. KT Rolster has looked very bad. They managed to take one game off of Genji. Right. Which, I mean, good for you. You gotta win, but, well, you lost, but you got a game win. SK Gaming. SK Gaming is 26. Again, this is a team where if you told me before the season started that they would have 2 wins or 3 wins on the entire season, I wouldn't have fought you. They have looked pretty good. They're taking advantage of the strength of Volibear, and they're having some good drafts. I think that you kind of do have to give them a lot of credit for what they've accomplished so far this split. But let's take a look at their match history. Okay, in the summer. They beat Origin. Origin had that match where they didn't have their coach for like a week leading up to it. I think that's pretty impactful. They beat Schalke. Schalke's not a good team. I did favor Schalke in that match, but I still don't think they're a good team. They lost to Mad Lions. Mad Lions, definitely better than them. Misfits, they beat Misfits. That is pretty impressive. This was their Volibear game. So good read on the meta, but I'll take Misfits against SK Gaming every single day. If you wanted to bet me on that, hit me up in the comment section. Find me on Twitter the next time that they play, and I will happily bet you on that. There is no way that SK Gaming would be favored against Misfits, even if they played it. Even if they played tomorrow, knowing that they won the last time, there's no shot. So where are we? KT, SK. SK is 26, and then this is a travesty. This is absolutely insane. How in the world can you say that CLG is one of the 25 best teams in the world? CLG beat Dignitas, okay? Dignitas, horrible team. They beat Immortals, the worst team in the world. The worst team out of these 4 leagues. So those are 2 wins I give 0 credit. No credit to you. Then they beat Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians is ranked 31. So you have them beating the 47th team, the 47th ranked team, the 45th ranked team, and the 31st ranked team, and that makes them the 25th best team? That's just crazy. That it's just absolutely insane. Makes absolutely no sense. If SK Gaming against Counter Logic Gaming might actually be close. If KT Rolster, E-Star, Sunning, V5, even Golden Guardians and Misfits, I would take those teams over Counter Logic Gaming if the game happened tomorrow. Solhewan Prince, Hanwha Life, I would take them both over Counter Logic Gaming in a best of 1 or a best of 3. 100 Thieves, I would take them over Counter Logic Gaming. Billy Gaming, I would take them over Counter Logic Gaming. Rogue Warriors, I would take them over Counter Logic Gaming. It's just, this is a horrible ranking. Like, what have they done to justify this ranking? I would have loved to seen what their rankings would have been before the season started, because there's no way you can justify where they would have had them to up here based off of their performance so far. Like, they're not breaking the game. They're not winning these games like they're C9 or something. It's just crazy. Let's take a look at the scoreboards. Maybe I'm missing something. I doubt it. They lost 12-0 to Evil Geniuses. They got perfect gamed. Oh my god. Yeah, the 25th best team in the world is going to get perfect gamed by somebody. Okay. CLG against Immortals. You beat Immortals 16-8. Congratulations. Immortals is garbage. Week 2. CLG against Golden Guardians. This is a good win. It's a good win for CLG. They beat a team they shouldn't have beaten. 14-4, they got Volibear. Apparently Volibear is strong in North America. I'd be surprised if we saw that in like across the world. I don't think that Volibear is going to be some kind of meta-breaking champion for very long. It would be funny if he is, though. Then CLG beats Dignitas with another Volibear game. Okay, maybe they have a good read on the meta. That's the only potential, like, the only potential credit you can give them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're 3-1. Man, just insane. Great, fireworks, love it. Yeah, 3-1. Okay, let's move on, because that is just so annoying. Team Dynamics, 24. Dynamics has looked pretty good in their matches. Team Dynamics is currently 3-2 in their matches overall. They lost to Afrika Freaks, which wasn't very surprising to me. I was on the Afrika Freaks side, but they made it closer than I kind of thought it would be. Beating KT Rolster was good, but they didn't have their, who I thought should have been their starting solo laners, and they just didn't play well. Now we get TSM. So TSM is ranked 23rd. Just talent-wise, I mean, they're definitely one of the better teams in North America. Right now, they're 2-2. They lost against FlyQuest, which was a good team last split, and Team Liquid, who was a bad team last split, but is very talented. Everyone understands Team Liquid just had a bad split last season. Next up, we have Team World Elite. Team World Elite, very fun team to watch. I love Team World Elite. I think they're very, very, very good and underrated on this list. LGD, 21st, another team that is incorrectly rated in my opinion. EDG is overvalued right now. This is where we're going to start seeing like people who remember the names Hope Scout Mako are going to rank them higher than they should. Not going to spend much time talking about that. Then we have Origin. Origin is better than a lot of teams in North America. I would be interested to watch them play against TSM. I'm not 100% sure who I think would would win that match. Origin against FlyQuest, I would take Origin, I think. But at least we're getting into contested territory. And I'll do my 1 through 47 rankings, and I'll also do tier lists, which will kind of compare teams that I think have an actual chance of beating each other. FlyQuest. All right. FlyQuest at 18. That seems a little high to me. But again, we'll have to go through the entire list. Team Liquid, 17. Have to go through the entire list. EG, 16. EG's interesting. I have a lot of faith in EG. I think that this is probably about right of where they should end up on the list, but interesting nonetheless. Now we have Afrika Freaks at 15. This is probably like accurate but feels bad because of how it like seems. Like 15 just seems like a good number, like you're close to the top 10, when in reality I think there's a top tier of teams, giant gap, another tier of teams, pretty big gap, another tier of teams, you know what I mean? So we'll have to go through that. Invictus Gaming, players love to hate Invictus Gaming. not player, DFS players love to hate Invictus Gaming because they're frustrating to watch a lot of the time. Gen G against a lot of teams in the world. I'm just taking Gen G straight up in a best of 1 or a best of 3. Damwon Gaming. Damwon Gaming has looked very good so far this split. They made a run, I think, at the end of last year to get into Worlds. So they're a very interesting team. Mad Lions being this high is hilarious. This is not even close to accurate. They should be probably between 6 to 8 spots lower than where they are right here. So for these ones, we're going to actually read what they have to say to try to get some of their... Like, this is them telling us what they think. So for a lot of these teams, we have to guess what they think. Now they're actually going to tell us. So this is... I think it's Emily Rand. I was surprised at how far Fun Plus Phoenix went at the Midseason Cup, but I suppose I should stop being surprised by Fun Plus Phoenix at this point. Yeah, you think so? They're the world champions from last year, remember? They have the capacity to look wholly vulnerable in myriad of ways during a series, only to pull out a win at the last moment by sticking stubbornly to their playstyle around DoNB. This past week, they met and defeated their Bizarro World twin in Team World Elite and Teacher Mod, despite dropping Game 2 after having it in hand. An important note is that FPX is decided by Khan as their starting top laner, has looked more coordinated with the team, albeit some synergy issues. We're all just waiting for middle sticks on DoNB. Yeah, okay, I don't understand how, like, there is no justification for putting Fun Plus Phoenix at 10th in the world. This is criminally underrated in my opinion. They do only have a 5-3 match record so far. They've dropped a game to World Elite. They lost to LNG, which was a fluke, and they beat Billy Gaming 2-0. But they came in second in the Midseason Cup. Like, what are we doing here? They came in, what, third place? Second place or third place? They came in third place in the Spring Split, and they came in second place at the Midseason Cup. How do you not have them as, like, a top 5 team in the world? That makes absolutely no sense. Rogue at number 9. This is such a joke. Like, people... like, I don't understand how you can watch Rogue play the game and watch Fun Plus Phoenix play the game and then think to yourself, huh, I think Rogue's better than Fun Plus Phoenix. Like, it's just moronic. That's pretty annoying. Their only losses to G2, so you can't really fault them for that. But who did they beat? They beat XL, garbage team. They beat Schalke, garbage team. They beat Misfits. I like Misfits. Okay, win. They beat Vitality. Probably should be a garbage team. They have no chance against beating a lot of these teams in the world. So how are you going to justify ranking Rogue above Fun Plus Phoenix when the only 2 teams that they've played that are actually probably good are Misfits, who they beat, and G2, who they lost against? I just don't understand the methodology here. So this is Erzberger. Never heard of this guy. This is the Rogue I've wanted to see for a long time. Team of youngsters were surprised in 2019 split. Bottom tier team. Used to make fun of TSM struggles to an actual contender, upsetting Splice in the playoffs. So they're justifying 2019's bad performance as being something that allowed them to grow into a good team in 2020. Ironically, it was a rebuilt Mad Lions with their own spiffy rookie roster that stole the thunder from Rogue in the spring split, finishing above Rogue and even upsetting G2 in the playoffs en route to a third-place finish. In the early parts of the summer, we're starting to see signs of Rogue's young talent getting over the hump of inconsistency to start signing as some of the best players in the league, especially their mid laner Larson. Yeah, this is a joke. Horrible job. It's tough to take these rankings serious from this point on when you have Rogue as the number 9 team in the world. Did I miss... Okay, FPX was 10. And maybe they're trying to get clicks. Maybe they're trying to drum up some controversy and be like, oh, look how ridiculous we're being. Come scream at us in the comments. And that's the extent of the credit I'm willing to give them for this list. Fnatic. Fnatic may be another shock to see up high, even though they went 0-2 in the last week after losing Mad Lions and Origin. Admittedly, it has a lot to do with the power rankings are rated, how likely a Worlds appearance is in this team's future, and additionally that this is taking into consideration both weeks 1 and 2 of LEC, showcasing versatility. Reckless spent week 2 on Soraka, but Fnatic never seemed to have enough damage. Historically, Nemesis. We've seen Fnatic overcommit to specific drafting strategies in the past for better or worse. As of right now, we're in wait-and-see mode with Fnatic. I mean, I like Fnatic. I think they're a good team. I think they will make Worlds. I don't have a problem with Fnatic being a top 10 team, but putting them above Fun Plus Phoenix is just incorrect. So you got that one wrong. Sorry, ESPN. Cloud9, number 7. I think this is probably more measured than most people would be on Cloud9, which, like, this is a good thing from ESPN, but when you see all the other decisions they make, this seems kind of arbitrary. Because if they're using their garbage logic on all the other teams, they should use garbage logic on C9 and make them top 5. Here we go again, folks. The fun of trying to rank a really, really good C9 squad being held back by competition in North America. They do everything you want to see from an LCS team. They're proactive, blah, blah, blah. Reaper is their coach. Blabber is... Okay. This is a coach saying that his player is good, and ESPN is using it as justification for the player being good. Bak Reaper Hongyu has said that reigning league MVP Robert Blabber Huang might be the best early game jungler in the world, and it's not as far-fetched as it once seemed. He's not. Spoiler. They play the game in a way that LCS really doesn't do very often, comparable to Fun Plus Phoenix. They're not comparable to Fun Plus Phoenix in any way, except for the fact that Niski plays some champions that DoNB would potentially play. If Fun Plus Phoenix played against Cloud9 and Cloud9 won, I would be shocked. Absolutely shocked. I think stylistically, maybe C9 has some chances to win in the early game against them, because Fun Plus Phoenix really is more of a mid-game team. So from a tempo advantage, sure, Cloud9 might be able to take a game off of them, but winning 3 games against them, I think is really unlikely. JDG is like a better version of C9, and I think that the next time we see Fun Plus Phoenix play against JDG, I think we'll see Fun Plus Phoenix win. I think that this past patch, or the past couple of patches, have been very good for Cloud9. It doesn't matter what the patch is for North America. I think they're the best team in North America. But when they're being stacked up against international teams, that's when we really have to take into consideration how much is the patch actually helping them. Or the meta helping them. DragonX. South Korea needs firepower to contend with Europe and China at the upcoming World Championship. Their love for Europe is so overblown, it's hilarious. The spring split was impressive. Chovy, Deft, put up a little fight against T1. T1's a very good team. As Damwon heads into the summer, they know that Deft is going to round into form. I think they mean DragonX, hopefully. And Korea, however, Keria somehow seems to be getting even better. Very true. I think Keria is a very good player. He's been a carry at different points, which is very good. DRX has gotten off to a hot start, and it'll be up to the team's other 2 young talents. Weird way to say that. Choi Doran Hyunjun and Hong Pyosik Chonghyun. Pyosik is better than Doran, I think. But yeah, it is interesting. Doran was told by head coach Kim CVMAX Daeho that his spot in the starting roster would be up for grabs if he didn't grind in solo queue during the offseason and raise his online rankings, and the up-and-down top laner has done just that, looking steadier and sharper in the early goings than he did in spring. Yeah, Doran is definitely the weak spot. Pyosik is not the weak spot. Not sure why they're talking about those 2 players in the same breath. C9 is 7. JDG. Oh, I didn't have JDG in here. I should have. That's my fault. This might be a head-scratcher if you're looking at the current LPL standings, but JDG are still one of the top teams in China. Like, they're writing this article for people who know nothing about League of Legends. Like, they lost to RNG, big deal. They lost to Top Esports, big deal. Like, if you're not watching the games, then why would... Like, you shouldn't even say this. You shouldn't even set it up like this. It should be like, JDG has had 2 tough matchups in the early part of the season, but we still think that they're one of the best teams in the world. That should be the entire sentence. They're the entire paragraph. In their first 3 series, okay, they said that one of the tougher schedules in LPL. Kanavi is perfectly at home in the current jungle meta. Loken and Lumao have been stepping up. It's the solo laners that have looked a bit shakier. Yagao is the question mark on the team. Zoom has looked a little bit worse than he has in general. But ultimately, I agree with the conclusion that they came to. You can't really justify moving them down yet because they are a good team. Regression was in store for them. Top 5, I think you kind of have to leave them there for now, but I could see a downward momentum for JDG in the future. If they had to get knocked down a couple more spots, I wouldn't be that shocked by it. RNG. RNG is not the 4th best team in the world. At all. So let's read what they have to say. After legacy Chinese bot laner Jian Uzi Jihao, I'm going to stop saying their names. I don't want to butcher anybody's names. We all wondered what RNG would look like without him. The most recent glimpse of this for any extended amount of period was back in when Wooksh was in charge of the bot lane. They got Betty. Betty has been a beast, and they've been willing to play around him, while Xiaohu is showing off the 131, characterized in 2018. Now with top laner Tian, New Jipeng. New is not good. You should keep that in mind. This is a team that's feeling out how they want to play and still making mistakes, but also looking formidable. So they beat JDG, good win. RNG is probably not better than JDG in the long run. That was just JDG losing to RNG, which is within the realm of possibilities. This seems to be a good meta for XLB, Xiaolong Bao, and I agree. He didn't look good last split, but he looks better this split. I agree with that. I think that RNG is a good team, and it's better than a lot of the teams that they have ranked up here. Or not ranked up here. They are better than a lot of the teams, like North American and LEC teams that are up here, but they're not better than Dragon X or Gen G probably right now. At least those are close. 3. G2 Esports. Alright, let's see what they have to say. 3-2 following a slow start to the season. G2 is in a similar position to T1. The franchise has won multiple domestic titles in a row and has all the talent in the world. It's not a question of when G2 Esports is going to turn on the burners and start rolling through the competition at record speed. It's when they're going to flip the switch. So far through 2 weeks, it's back to basics for the reigning World Championship runner-up, swapping back to the starting 5 of formation that almost won every important trophy in 2019. Back to business with Caps in the mid lane. Perks wasn't his cap. It's more. Perks has already been one of the best 80 carries in the world, although it's only been 5 games. Perks has shown little rust, returning to the role he switched to from mid lane in 2019, currently holding a 13-minute advantage over 10 minutes when compared to his laning opposition. The CS differential stuff always makes me laugh. Like, who cares? The CS differential is not indicative of, like, extremely good play on a micro level. It's good team play. Like, if the one team has more pressure than the other team, they should be able to force the other team off of minions and stuff like that. Not a huge deal. T1, number 2. It wasn't the start the 3-peating South Korean champions were looking for, but T1 stitched up the weaknesses to salvage a 500 record. They lost to Dragon X. Dragon X is a good team. The rise of teams like Dragon X and Damwon is good for T1 and the LCK as a whole. We've seen before that a region with only one strong team often leads to disappointing international results. As long as T1 can keep its head above water and place in the top 3 by the end of the regular season, there's no one better to bet on in the playoffs than Faker, who is gunning for his 10th domestic title. Yeah, tough. It's always tough to rank T1 because they have so much history and everybody wants to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm one of those people. Top team in the world right now. This is no surprise to anyone, and I'm not surprised by this at all. JDG won the LPL Spring. Top Esports were mid-rise when they met them in the Spring Finals. MSC showed a Top Esports team with a few more weeks of practice and their new bot laner Jackie Love. Good synergy between Knight and Karsa. Knight is one of the best mid laners in the world right now. They're saying he is the best mid laner in the world. He's one of the best mid laners in the world. Upon returning to the LPL, Top Esports sat Jackie Love and started... Okay, that's not what happened. Jackie Love was sick. They then dismantled JDG. The scariest part about Top Esports is they have room to grow, especially support Yu Yanjia, who has improved since a surprisingly strong MSC performance. Okay, that's enough of ESPN. I will be very happy that I don't have to take that into consideration until they release the next one. I cannot believe what I just read. Okay, so we're going to do my rankings. So, Immortals. Horrible team. No bright spots. Nothing to build on. You're garbage. Horrible team. Horrible, horrible team. So that's what we're looking for in all these regions. Can I find some other teams like that? None of these other teams are like Immortals. Immortals is especially bad. They're uniquely bad. Immortals. Where's 46? DMO. I'm not so sure that DMO is as bad as them. Dignitas, I'd say XL. Alright, I was wrong. I still need these stupid rankings. Just to give myself a place of reference. Alright, so for all of the other low teams, I think that Schalke belongs down there. So let's take Schalke. I'm still going to rearrange these teams, but I just want to make sure I have all these teams down here. XL belongs down here. Dignitas belongs down here. Okay, so I'm going to say all 4 of these teams are bad. But let's explain why they're all bad. Let's go to rosters. Okay. Immortals. Soaz, Potluck, Ica, Altec, Gate. No good players, nothing to build on. Just not good. I'd be shocked if any of them materializes into something good. Dignitas. Acadian, he's okay for North America, not a very good player. Viper has looked bad and has just been playing bad. So like a lot of people who want to say that Viper is a pretty good top laner mechanically or whatever, I'm in that camp. He's been looking terrible. Maybe he's just done for it. Froggen is a legacy player. Probably shouldn't even be playing in a professional capacity right now in North America, but he's popular and is probably a good team influence and probably understands the game very well. Maybe he's a person who turns into a coach and has a successful coaching career, but he's not contributing to the winning difference of his team. Johnson, a young AD carry. I think what they're trying to do is probably giving Johnson a bunch of reps with veterans surrounding him so that he doesn't have a ton of pressure, and then he'll be able to build on that in the future. So I do think that that's pretty good. That's actually not bad. Afromu, same thing as Froggen. So they have building for future around Johnson. So already they are light years ahead of Immortals. Next up is XL. Okay, XL. So Kryze has an interesting champion pool. He has played relatively well in some of his matches. Young Buck is an okay coach, but he's very overrated because a lot of his success came with G2 when he had like the best team in the world. So like I don't care about Young Buck being a contributor to the winning difference of his team. He's had like extremely good players for a long time. Special is their new mid laner. Cadril is their jungler. That's okay. They're not really amazing players in any capacity. So I don't really know what the future holds for XL. But at least competent coach, I'll say that. Patrick has looked okay at times. So it's like some interesting players, but unlikely to turn into best team in Europe at any point in the next couple of years. I'd be surprised. It's tough to say, but I'd be surprised. Schalke, top lane, Adewamne, a legacy player, but he's one of the better legacy players that are out there. He still plays really well. Lurox is a relatively young jungler. Abadage, relatively young mid laner. Inox, relatively young AD carry. Neon, relatively young AD carry. That is going between Academy and Pro. So Schalke, they do have some young players. I think that the XL and Schalke comparison is pretty close. So I think these two should really be... these two are equals. So we'll do 47, 46, and then 45, 45, because they're both tied for 45th. They're both definitely better for one reason or another than Dignitas or Immortals, either based on current performance or like short-term performance, or they're actually building around something. Okay, back to the list. So who else do I want down here? I think Vitality should be down here. Vitality. And I think CLG should be down here too. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at Vitality's roster. Cabochard, basically just a legacy player. Njai, new player, not really sure what he's going to turn into. Milica, he's looked actually pretty good so far. I don't know much about him. Comp and Labrov, a young Greek bot lane. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to perform for the rest of the season. They have gotten more wins than most people have thought they'd be able to. But again, they beat G2 when G2 was just in a bad situation. Like, I'm not going to give them too much credit for that. So, some young players. Future unclear. Let's go to CLG. CLG has Ruin, who's a relatively good top laner, but he's kind of just a legacy player at this point. He's an unknown. Well, not unknown. He is like, what kind of upside do you see for Ruin long term? I don't think there's much there. Wiggly has not looked good in general. They've won a few matches, but I don't care about stuff like that. I'm thinking long term and like sustainable success. They haven't beaten anybody that's good. Golden Guardians is a questionable team at best. So CLG has Wiggly, who I don't think he's really going anywhere. Pobelter, like, I love Pobelter, but he's not that good. Stixay, he has not turned into what everyone kind of wanted him to, which was like to be the best North American bot laner. And his like window of opportunities kind of closing to compete on like an international level. I feel like mechanically he's always been pretty good, but those teams of like 4 years ago when Stixay was like a young, interesting 80 carry, that's all gone at this point. So they're in like a weird spot where they're not young enough to be a team for the future, and they're not good enough right now to actually compete with anybody. So they're like in limbo. Let's go back to the list. Actually, I should do this as well. Let's just do this real quick. Top. I'll do. DRX, C9, Fnatic, Fnatic FPX, Mad, Damwon, Genji, IG, AF, EG, TL, FlyQuest, Origin, EDG, LGD, World Elite, TSM, Dynamics, CLG, SKKT, E-Star, Sunning, V5, Golden Guardians, Misfits, Vitality, SP, HLE, SB, OMG. XL, Rogue Warriors, SR4, Dig, DMO, Immortals. Am I missing someone? OMG. Vici, XL, Rogue Warriors, Schalke, Dig, DMO. Ah, who did I miss? E-Star. Dynamics. I missed TSM. Wait. Nope. OG, EDG. Oh, I missed TL. Nope. God, that's so annoying. Who did I miss? 11. I missed one of the top 10 teams? Rogue. Because Rogue has no business being in the top 10. Oh my god, just typing that makes me cringe. And I hate the word cringe. Even me saying the word cringe, you had to do something ridiculous for me to even say that. If we're being honest. Alright. So let's just make sure that we're marking teams as we get rid of them. CLG, Immortals, Dig, XL, Vitality, SO4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 teams are done. Okay. So Dominus, Rogue Warriors, Vici Gaming, OMG. Okay. I just realized that music's been going on this entire time. Alright, so let's take a look. Dominus, Rogue Warriors, Vici Gaming, OMG, Billy Gaming, LNG. So I think we could just make like a small group of these Chinese teams. I don't think there's a ton separating these Chinese teams. So teams I need to list soon. So SK should be down here. Dynamics should be down here. I don't know how E-Star's all the way up there. E-Star, GG, 100 Thieves. So the teams I need to rank now. Actually, I guess I could just do it like this. So Dominus is the next team. Do I think Dominus would beat Immortals? Yes. Do I think Dominus would beat Dignitas? Yes. Do I think Dominus would beat XL? Yes. Do I think Dominus would beat SO4? Yes. Vitality. It's close. It's close right here, so I'll put Dominus here. So for DMO, they are winless so far this split. But they are... And let's just take a look at their roster to make sure. Helper's gone. So it's Zubin, Chalizi. Xiaopeng was okay. Twyla. They're not very good at all. So I'm okay with having them all the way down here. Rogue Warriors. Rogue Warriors is a team that I'm probably higher on than most people. I think Crazy and Holder are both pretty good. I think Zwuji and Lay are both pretty good. Is Hoon easy Hoon? No. I think Haro is a good jungler. I don't know why Haro isn't playing. So they're better than all these teams. And let's see how much higher we can get them. Rogue Warriors against Vici. Based off of these recent performances, I think that's a close one. Rogue Warriors against OMG. That's a close one. I really think that there's just like a subsection of teams in China that are just a clump right now. So Rogue Warriors, Vici Gaming, OMG, Billy Gaming, E-Stars right there as well. LNG is probably right there as well, but E-Star is better, or LNG is better than... It's probably like this. And then we have Billy Gaming, E-Star, LNG, Billy Gaming, Vici, OMG, Rogue, Dominus. So Dominus, and then I guess the cop-out move is to put them in based on standings, but these are all basically the same level of team. I think OMG is definitely better than these teams. Vici Gaming is starting to be scary because they kind of look lost with their roster right now too. So these teams will probably be clumped together somehow. So let's see where we can get SP. Alright, so 100 Thieves. Do I think 100 Thieves can beat any of these teams? Let's look at their roster real quick. Someday, Meteos, Ryoma, Cody Sun, Stunt. Yeah, I think that they could probably take a game off of one of these teams. But we can throw 100 Thieves down here. Sandbox, same thing, they're down here. I think Hanwha Life is definitely better than this clump of teams. SP is better than this clump of teams. Misfits is better than this clump of teams. V5 is better. Golden Guardians is probably right around here. So we've got SP is done. 100 Thieves is done. Golden Guardians is done. The thing is, I think Sandbox beats a lot of these teams. Let's do that. Golden Guardians is done. V5, Sonic, E-Star, KT, CLG. Alright. So let's see, 100 Thieves. Someday is best player, but not even young, exciting player anymore. Which is crazy. Like he had such a huge amount of potential, and he kind of went to North America and wasn't able to get onto one of the best teams and get back to Worlds and really compete on an international level, which stinks. One second.
No, you don't need.
Golden Guardians. Haunter, Closer, Demonte, FBI, Huhi. I think Closer is a good. I think Closer's a good jungler. I think that they could probably beat a lot of these teams in like a game, but I don't have much reason to think that they would beat a lot of these teams that like could theoretically take a game off of a Chinese top team. So I've got to leave them down here. Like maybe they're closer to maybe they're right around here with these guys, but it's that's why they're down here. Sandbox, Summit, and On Fleek are both pretty good players. Dove, not really that good. Root, really not that good. Gorilla, legacy player. So I like Summit and On Fleek, but that's about it. Rogue Warriors. Questionable roster decisions, but pretty talented. Like, if Rogue Warriors was in North America, they'd be like a top 4 team. Definitely. Top 5 team. Vici Gaming. King and ADD have not been great. Best 16 is not great. Fofo, Wings, Shinmo. Yeah. Again, Vici Gaming, I think they could compete with a lot of the best, a lot of the better teams in North America, which is why I think that they should be, they have to be rated down here because of what we've seen from them. But I think that if they played against each other, we'd be surprised by who actually was winning those games. Wings has looked pretty good in some spots, but he's supposed to. He's the AD carry. Best 16 has been okay. So I don't really have much to say about them. Vici Gaming, big disappointment. Good coach. I mean, they've got the pieces to maybe figure it out, but they're not playing for right now. They are building for future. I'm a little surprised by how young a lot of their players are. Now, will they ever get there? Who knows? That's a good question. Icon, SMLZ, Cold. Yeah, so this makes sense to me. I think OMG has been underperforming, but can take games off top teams. LNG. Chenlong 17, I think, has been a bright spot. Light has looked pretty good. Maple's washed up. E-Star. Good bot lane. Fun has looked pretty surprisingly good. Wei has been okay at different points. So, like, they're younger than most teams in North America, and I think their future is much brighter than most teams in North America and Europe as well. It's just tough because they're in a much more competitive league, so they're never going to get the chance to, like, prove themselves on an international stage unless they have, like, some kind of huge upgrade in understanding. Which is possible, but tough. Yeah, so this is getting, like, to the point where it's a lot of it's pretty tough making it's tough differentiating between these teams. I think based off of recent performance, we kind of have to go like this. Let's see, Hanwha Life, SP, Misfits, V5. Sunning, I think Sunning is better than all these teams. I think KT is probably worse than all these teams right now. I do like Hanwha Life more than I like KT. Because I feel like Hanwha Life's bot lane is just so much better. Oh, SK needs to be all the way down here too. So does Dynamics. If Team Dynamics played Misfits, they'd probably win. And then SK. I think if SK... Now we're getting into some weird territory here. So... SK and LEC... Good start to season, good drafts, but tough to see them being favored against teams above them. At least a justified favorite. Like, maybe you can actually see that happening, but I don't believe it. I wouldn't make that bet, is what I'm saying. So KT... Yeesh. KT is about one bad split from blowing up the entire thing. Wow. So they're going to try to build around UCal and aiming in the future. I think they're good enough right now to maybe surprise some people in the second half of the split and, like, sneak into the playoffs, take some games off of good teams because they have a very good macro understanding and they are like a veteran team. But yeah, that's about it. Misfits, they've been pretty disappointing so far, going 2-3. Beat Schalke, lost to Fnatic. You can't blame them for losing to Fnatic. Beat Origin, good win. Lost to Rogue, that's a tough loss. They should be beating Rogue, I think. And then SK, I think that's just like a fluke game. So I'm not going to put too much into that. I think Misfits is definitely better than SK rest of season. So I think that Razork underperforming, but Fabivin and Kabe will turn it around. Like, imagine what people would be saying about them if they didn't throw away the Fnatic game. They'd be 3-2. They'd be 3-2 with wins over Fnatic and Origin. Like, they're a good team for Europe. Team Dynamics. I think that Team Dynamics is good on this patch. They're a little... they're pretty interesting for like a promotion team because they're not young. They're not like young enough to be a promotion team with upside for the future. Diokdam looks like he's pretty good, but he's the youngest guy on the team. Rich, remember, is a professional from a different video game, so he will not have the longevity necessarily that like a lot of the younger players in China will have. So I think they're surprisingly in win now mode, surviving until franchising, which should happen next year, and then changing roster. Once they have the security, they'll probably upgrade their roster with some younger players with higher upside in the future. Seoul Haewon Prince, they're another win now team that's not as talented as the other teams. So they're like your middle of the table. They're going to be competitive with everybody, but no one's really going to be afraid of them in the playoffs, I don't think. Hanwha Life. We have Cuvée. Dudu has actually looked pretty good on some of his Wukong games, which is pretty cool. They're in an interesting spot. I think once they figure out their roster combination for what they're going to do long term, they're going to be pretty surprising. Like, I'd be more afraid of Hanwha Life than Seoul Haewon Prince, for sure. I guess I have Hanwha Life as like the 5th or 6th best team in Korea right now. Best of mid-tier teams. V5. I mean, big dick bot lane. We all know. Next up, we have Sunning. Sunning. Very good for how young they are. This is a good patch for them. I think that Sunning can compete with a lot of these teams. I do kind of expect Sunning to make it into playoffs and compete with a lot of these teams. Now I see that EDG is up here somewhere. I have to put EDG lower than them. All right, so let's lock these ones in. 39, 38. I feel good going up to about here. I think Sunning is better than V5. And I think Sunning is better than EDG. But EDG beats Sunning. I still think Sunning is better than EDG. EDG. Audi's not looked good. Junjia and Jai Jai are interesting but not great. Scout, Hope, Mako. Scout, okay, wait a second. I think this is about where they should be. They're surprisingly young. I didn't know how young these guys were. So that makes their future prospects look a little bit better. The Shy was born in '99, and people are talking about him like he'll never be good again. EDG, interesting. So this is gonna be an interesting spot because I think that I'm gonna have to move these teams up because we have some more teams that we have to get in underneath them. So I like all of these teams more than TSM. Origin is close. I just think that Nuke Duck is a liability. TSM, FlyQuest. TSM, FlyQuest. Origin and Team Liquid. Like, if you had Origin playing against EDG, you'd have to pick EDG. I'll say this, probably. Okay. Alright, now we're looking pretty good. Alright, so TSM... underperforming, but will be top 4 in NA this split. Probably. FlyQuest. Going through some roster changes. I love Power Vival. Santorin's okay. Ignar's very good. But limited ceiling. Won't beat C9 or EG. OG. Good macro team, but limited playstyle, in my opinion. I don't see them beating a lot of these Korean teams, because the Korean teams play that style better than they do. Team Liquid, they're going to rebound this split. EDG, surprisingly young, strong team. World Elite, I think the issue with World Elite is that they're very good on this patch. Morgan, very good carry top laner. Beishang, good jungler. Teacher Ma, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. But Zhao Meng and Missing are both like a good bot lane as well. So a young core, I think they could be pretty good for a decent amount of time. LGD is like more of a win now team. Will be in playoffs, I think. I'm pretty high on LGD. This is one of the teams I'm taking a stand on, I think. I love the team. Love Peanut. That's where I'm at with that. Where did I mess this up? Oh, so this should both be. Alright, so now we're getting into some interesting territory here. Evil Geniuses. Let's see, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mad. I have to lower Mad. And I have to lower Rogue. I don't think Mad Lions is better than Evil Geniuses. And I like Evil Geniuses. I like Evil Geniuses. I just can't really justify putting them above those Chinese teams. Just from like an eye test perspective, watching them play, like the Chinese teams are just better. I think that they would just beat them. If any of these teams were in North America, they'd be a top 2 team. I think these teams have a better chance of competing against C9 than EG does. Rogue, good young team, but they're overrated on this list. Same thing here. Good young team, but overrated. Evil Geniuses, good roster for North America, but not world-class talent outside of 80 carry. Then I got these teams here. So then that's done. That's done. That's done. A Freak of Freaks, Invictus Gaming, Fnatic, Freak of Freaks, IG, Genji. Do I think a Freak of Freaks are better than these Chinese teams? Nope. Good middle tier Korean team. I think that Hanwha Life is better than a Freak of Freaks. I really do, but I'll save that. I'll move that in the future if I feel like I'm right about that. Invictus Gaming, Genji. I think putting Invictus Gaming here is fine. Good team, still strong players. Wins sloppy. Public hates them, and I'm fine with that. I actually love that. Oh, they should be above Fnatic. So we got to move some more teams down. So Cloud9 down, Fnatic down. Genji versus Invictus Gaming. So I would say Fnatic is down here. If Fnatic played Invictus Gaming tomorrow, I would pick Invictus Gaming. Definitely. Fnatic, we have Bwipo. Selfmade's pretty good. Nemesis is okay. Reckless is still a world-class player. I think that the only thing holding them back from international is mid jungle right now, and it's not because I don't think they have the potential to be good. It's because they haven't proven to be very consistent, even domestically. G2 is just a much better team than them. Invictus Gaming. Invictus Gaming against C9. I think that's probably where I could justify putting C9. If C9 played Genji. Now we're getting into a pretty tough spot because we have Genji, Damwon Gaming. I think Damwon Gaming is better than Gen G right now. Like, right now. But do I think they're better than Cloud9? I think this is good. And even here, I feel like Cloud9 probably doesn't deserve to be above Gen G or Invictus Gaming. I think they'd have a pretty good match against Fnatic. Do I think C9 could beat these Chinese teams that are up there? That's questionable, but they're definitely ahead of VDG, so this feels pretty like a pretty good spot. Gen G, not as good as T1, DRX, maybe not Damwon Gaming, but the Damwon Gaming one I don't feel great about. Cloud9, prove it. I mean, we have no reason to believe that they're anything more than just like a bad team stomper. So it's like Gen G when they were in during the regular season last split, they were beating all the bad teams, but eventually it came to the point where they were just not as good as T1. Damwon Gaming, very impressive start to season. Damwon Gaming has beaten, well, just Sandbox and SP. Ooh, maybe I have them too high. We'll see how they do against one of these better teams. But I think, based off of what I've said, I think this is pretty good for now. All right, so so now we have Top Esports, T1, G2, RNG, JDG, DragonX, and FPX. I think Top Esports. G2 is tough. JDG, DRX. Top Esports, FPX, G2, RNG. So I'm pretty sure that my list would fall in line with how I would bet on these teams. Actually, no. If it was how I would bet, I'd probably pick T1 over FPX. So Top Esports, I think I'm fine calling them the best team in the world right now, but it's really more of like a tier thing. I think that Top Esports, T1, and FPX are really close. So I think Xiaohu, very good. I'm not sure how I feel about RNG. Yeah, RNG's fine here. Xiaohu's very good. Betty, learning. XLB, surprisingly strong at the moment. JDG, Kanavi, and Zoom need to regain form. Was their success a fluke on last patch? Regression. DragonX, a great talented team. Overall, very experienced. Chovy is another one of the best mid laners in the world. Keria is an up and coming support. Keria is probably a top 5 to 10 support right now in the world. top 10 definitely. That's why I think Dragon X maybe they deserve to be higher rated than G2 after the beginning of the split. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Bad beginning to split, still very good. Dragon X, Keria and Chovy just unlocking potential. FPX, one of the best macro teams in the world. T1, Kana, Cuz, Faker, Teddy, Effort. Good team. Great team. Great team. Great talent. Great organization. Like, there's just nothing bad you can really say about T1 except for their mid-season cup performance. I think they're definitely one of the two best teams in the world. They can beat anybody, and there are only a handful of teams that can realistically beat them in like a best of 3 or a best of 5. And then Top Esports, great team, great talent, great team, on form. I think I like this pretty good. So for the best teams in the world, I would say these 4 teams are the best 4 teams, the 4 best teams in the world right now. G2, JDG, RNG, Damwon Gaming, C9, Genji, Invictus Gaming. I think all these teams are probably the second tier of teams. For one reason or another, it's tough to differentiate them. I think I might have V5 a little high. But this is the very interesting this is a very interesting group of teams right here. I like these Chinese teams a lot. I think some of them have a chance to get higher in these rankings. I think China is probably just the best league in the world right now, and they have so much young talent that we could have any of these teams turn into like a really good team for an extended period of time. A Freak of Freaks, I think they're going in the wrong direction. Evil Geniuses, wrong direction. Mad Lions are a good young team, but overrated for right now. Rogue, same thing. V5, probably overrated right here, but it's fun to have them up here. Hanwha Life. They're interesting for this split. So this is kind of a mishmash. All these teams around here. This is the line of demarcation, I think. This, I don't have many good things to say about any of these teams down here. These are all the teams that are looking like they're on better form right now than these teams, but like being better than these teams isn't saying much. Yeah, so let's go through it from bottom to top real quick. So Immortals, worst team in the world. Oh, actually no. I need to get in probably my favorite team in the world right now. Not the best team in the world right now, but my favorite team in the world right now, and that is Santos Esports, the Brazilian squad. So they have Jackpot, Hyoga, who is okay, nothing special, Rainbow, Juzo, Sarkis, Hawk, and they go between Juzo and Sarkis in their starting lineup. So I think that if you took this Brazilian team right now and put them into the North American LCS, I think they would probably be the 5th best team. If you put Santos in North America, They're not as good as C9. They're not as good as EG. But they would be competing with FlyQuest, Team Liquid, and Team Solomid. So they would be the 5th or 6th best team in North America right now, in my opinion. In Europe, I think Santos would be... probably 7th or 8th. Maybe higher. They would definitely make playoffs. So a Brazilian team would be a playoff team in North America and Europe. Let that sink in. So they would have to be right around here. I think that's right. Maybe they're in this tier right here. Yeah. So I think this is correct. Make them orange. And that's all I got for you today. So I'm not going to compile this into some fancy graphic or anything like that. Maybe I'll do that in the future. But I'm not going to do it in a video. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked my rankings. If you have any opinions on where you think these teams should be ranked, teams that I have too high, too low, if you want to make a good argument for a team, let me know, and I'll bring it up in the next video. I'll probably do this once a week or once every couple of weeks. I love comparing teams to one another. I should probably do a tier list as well at some point, but I think these tiers kind of break it down for how I feel. I think ESPN did a horrible job with their rankings. No rhyme or reason. I think it's just a horrible list. So I felt compelled to make my own. So again, let me know what you think. Check me out, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, etc., etc. If you want to join Patreon, you get access to Discord. If you get Discord, you get access to my picks. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.